Ian, is that your wrestling
yeah. No, I'm just excited.
Okay. Ian, tonight we are back and we have checked out a wrestling film.
Dark Match.
Dark Match. I had never heard of this thing.
Yeah.
You found the trailer.
One of our patrons, I think, actually had dropped it in the recommendations channel.
Okay.
Don't remember which one.
It's a fairly new movie. It came out like a month or two ago on Shudder, I guess, and I hadn't heard anything after its release either. But checking out that trailer, I was on board.
Don't have to argue with me to get me to watch a wrestling movie.
But see, you do have to argue with me to get me to
Usually.
Yeah, I'm not a big wrestling guy.
No, but you're a horror guy, and it definitely looked violent, and not in the wrestling way, but in the violence way.
Yes, as well as the cultish. So, Dark Match. What would you say is the premise for this film?
A small wrestling promotion gets drawn to a dark match, which is like, I guess, like off the regular storyline is the vibe. I'm not familiar with the phrase, I guess. I like wrestling a little bit, but I've never been a big fan, just to put my bona fides on the table.
Here we go.
I know a little bit, but I'm certainly not going hard at it. But yeah, so it's a private event, effectively. Like it's like renting out the bar for your own private event kind of thing. So they bring them in, but there's more than meets the eye. Yeah, there's something weird and occult going on, and there's sacrifices. And
one would say perhaps even hijinks ensue.
Hijinks did indeed ensue.
I got a very big Joe Begos vibe from this thing.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that, but you are totally right.
Yeah, which is the guy who made VFW, Bliss, and some Santa Claus movie. I don't remember what it's called.
I didn't see the Santa Claus movie.
But the
But VFW is fucking cool as shit.
It is. Very similar vibe. Very grindhousey, very like shot on film style look.
Yeah, it's definitely shot on film, but
if it wasn't, it was made to look that way.
Yes, agreed. On purpose.
Yeah, which I loved.
There's times where like, I think somebody who doesn't know anything about film might think it just looks like shit, but I think it was definitely like trying to give it an old time kind of grainy look to it.
Yeah, it's funny when
which they were using to cover up some things too.
Well, it's really funny when you shoot a movie and you're like, I want this to look more like film, and what you do is you add grain and noise to your picture and you blur it slightly so it doesn't look so clean and crisp.
There's times where it looked a little crisper, and times, especially when they were filming in the dark, where it didn't look quite as good.
Sure.
But in a way that I think worked for this film.
Oh yeah, 100%. What did you think overall?
I loved it. It was a great time. This is the kind of low budget, and asterisk on low budget because it's Canadian low budget, not American low budget.
You can even say that's why there's so much maple syrup in this movie.
The Canadians actually fund the arts in their country.
This is probably real wrestling there because of their free healthcare. These people are just fine.
Yeah. So yeah, it was great. So there's like a true passion for not just the look of the film, but the wrestling. Like, it was clear they cared about the wrestling. We've watched some movies in the past where like hockey was part of it, but they like didn't understand or just weren't good at capturing the hockey. Or there was a movie about a band where like none of the actors play music.
Yeah.
And you never saw them actually play music. But like here, they actually did some wrestling. There's times when it could have gone a little harder on the wrestling, but
no, that's a really good point, because when I was watching it, it made me think like, oh man, this is such a hard life. Like it takes a passion to want to do this, because it's not rewarding, it doesn't seem like, unless you make it. You know what I mean? Like it's not monetarily rewarding. Sure, you get to play for a crowd, but like there is so much involved, and they're driving a shitty van and stuff. Like it's not easy. So
like even just I think the passion for the wrestling existed in the filmmaking too.
Yeah, no, that's
they truly cared about it.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, that was one of the interesting aspects where I was like, okay, yeah, I believed this life for these characters.
They used the right dialogue and buzzwords, and like you could see the actual passion in the characters. Like spoilers, there's a moment late in the movie. It's heavy spoilers, but like they could just escape a dangerous situation, but he's got to grab that belt first. I'm like, yes! if the people making the movie didn't give a shit, they just had a script that they were plowing through for the money, wouldn't think to do that.
No, yeah, I wouldn't be able to make a movie about wrestling because I don't care enough about it or know enough about it.
Fair enough.
So like the writer, directors, it was clear they had a passion for this thing as well.
I love that.
Yeah, no, it very much comes through. So you were a big fan.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed it too. I wasn't sure at first where, like it was pretty obvious at first where it was going, but how it all kind of looped back together with our characters, and some of that stuff unwinding I thought was interesting. And there was moments where, to me, it's like a really dark and gritty movie, but then at times it was very silly, so it felt a little weird.
I thought that walked that line well.
Yeah, for the most part. But I think the thing that really chuffs my undies, is that a saying?
That you nailed it. That's the saying.
The ending, which we can get to with spoilers, but I was like wanting more.
Yeah, they walked up to a line that could have been more interesting, but would have also been a lot tougher.
It would have been a lot tougher. Yeah, because
and gotta leave them wanting, Chris.
And budget might have.
You ready for Dark Match 2?
Yeah, seriously.
I am.
But
get on it.
We said low budget, but I mean, there's moments where
relative
there's decent amount of actors, even if there's extras on screen.
What was the movie about the band who gets killed by the Satanist or whatever that we watched?
Oh, last week, director's cut?
Yeah, director's cut. This is leagues above director's cut in budget.
Yeah, probably.
Bigger sets, bigger crews.
Oh yeah, recognizable actors.
Some.
There was a few. You got Stephen Ogg, which everyone knows from Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh,
and
sure.
Yeah, well, he was Trevor, I think, in Grand Theft Auto.
You say so.
Walking Dead. The one guy, I forget his name, but he was in like The Divide. I reckon Chris friggin' Jericho's in this movie. So they pulled a wrestler guy out.
And the acting in general was pretty solid. Like at times it could be a little cheesy, but in the ways that were appropriate to the film. The dialogue was good. The camera work was good. There was times when they were doing things that were clearly like adding to the storytelling process with the camera work.
Yeah, moments of highlighting like people being drunk or on
drugged.
something.
Yeah.
No, it was effective, and like I said, I really dug the style and the lighting, which at times, and I think it works in a movie like this where it has that kind of vintagey feel. The lighting being, very colorful at times.
Yeah.
It really looks good then. To me, when it's like in a new, like very clean movie, it doesn't feel right. I guess because
horror in general, I don't think benefits from being too clean. You know what I mean? So setting this in the past, I don't think we've mentioned it yet, but I think this takes place in the 80s.
Yeah, late 80s, because they said the 90s coming.
So not only setting it in the past and wanting to look a little bit like film, but also just having this dark, gritty element to it is the perfect way to like cover up some flaws and some budgety things.
Sure.
In a way that doesn't feel corny.
No.
It feels authentic, and it almost adds to the ambiance to the film.
Yeah, and as the story unfolds, like they did take their time at the beginning to set up the characters and some of the dynamics with the characters. And there was a build-up before you get to really any horror stuff. But once
But in an effective way.
Yeah, an effective way.
I don't know, we're killing time until we get to the part we actually spent money on.
Yeah, I was waiting, but I wasn't bored yet.
Yeah.
And then once things
because the characters were engaging. The lead actress in particular, I thought,
she's very good. Yeah.
She's very good, and she definitely seems like the person who's the smartest person in the room.
Smartest person in the room. And once that action starts happening, it's pretty relentless from then on. And pretty much every scenario that plays out, every wrestling match plays out in a fun, interesting, unique way.
I thought in particular because there's supposed to be 5 sacrifices for, what do they call the event? Somalia?
I don't know, something like that.
So yeah, but whatever they called it.
Are we spoiling?
Sure. We're getting into spoilers, so if you want to watch the movie, do recommend.
Yes.
Check it out, and then come finish this. There's supposed to be 5 sacrifices in the 4th match. The 4th match is the lamest one. Like, it almost doesn't even start before it's over.
Which one's that?
The fire match. Oh. Because there was a wind, water, earth, fire, and then a spirit match.
It's like Avatar.
And they incorporate it's more like the 5th element. Or Captain Planet.
That's true.
But yeah, so the 4th match, the fire, and they incorporate fire.
Yeah.
And they incorporate earth, and they incorporate wind. But the 4th match, which was the fire match, I also get this would have been crazy expensive and difficult and dangerous too, though, incorporating fire into the match. So they just kind of ended it from the beginning.
There was times where I thought and there is a lot of gore, or a lot of blood, but there was times where I thought it was going to be even gorier than it was. The one match where he puts the guy's hands in glue and then in glass.
Yeah.
And they have a glass fight.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be way more violent and gory than it turned out to be.
If it was real life, it absolutely would have been.
Yeah.
But also, how do you film that safely? You know what I mean?
No, yeah, obviously have to have fake props and shit, but I was expecting.
I am curious what they actually put on his hands, though, if it wasn't literal glass.
Nah, it's probably like gloves he wore.
Probably.
That looked like, you know what I mean? And had fake glass or whatever. But yeah, no, it's a small movie, but also, like we're saying, like a ton of actors. The location was perfect. A lot of extras. Like, it's a complicated production for what we usually think of as low budget. Yeah, and he did 2 movies this year.
Oh, yeah?
He did some other zombie movie, which I think I reviewed earlier on the channel.
Tight.
So yeah, this guy's doing stuff. What?
Nothing.
Without You?
Is that the name of the movie?
I don't remember what it's called. So, the ending. You know, it's leading up to some sort of summoning or some sort of ritual. We don't know what it's going to be. At one point, we hear the crowd saying, like,
it's also not clear, too, to what degree this is just some kind of cash grab, like they're making a snuff film to sell.
True.
Is it just a financial thing and all the satanic stuff is just set dressing? Versus are there true believers?
Well, you have the one, like, the front hand man, the first hand man, whatever I want to say, the right hand man guy. He's definitely a true believer.
Yeah.
But it comes.
I do think the answer is complicated. to address that.
Because it seems like Chris Jericho's character at some point, he's like, no, I'm just here for revenge for his daughter and like some other stuff. It doesn't seem like he's really.
He's a figurehead. He's not. He's not the leader in the sense of organizing all of this.
So it's supposed to lead to some sort of culmination of a ritual, and we're like waiting. And obviously, you know, our heroes escape, you know, foiling this plot. But as they escape, you know, there's some survivors who
just a different sacrifice.
Complete the ritual. And that's when the demon does arrive, which I was like super excited for, because there was flashes of imagery at sometimes during like moments of psychedelic and whatever stuff where you'd see like a demon face. It's like, oh, are we gonna get a demon match in the wrestling rink? We do not. We do get a demon.
Yes.
And right as
we do get the promise of a demon fight.
Right as they're about to fight, it goes to fucking credits.
Yeah. I was like, it'd be hard to make the CG creature and the actual real life woman fight, though.
Yeah.
I wonder if they wanted to do that, like that was in the script.
Yeah.
And they just either the budget or the technical skill wasn't, you know, or the time wasn't there to actually do it, or if it was intended to be no, we're gonna leave you hanging, we're gonna leave you wanting something more. I mean, asking for that sequel.
Yeah, it was a mix of CG and practical, and when it was practical, it was fun. When it was CG, it was a little dodgy, so I could see like how it'd be difficult to do like a wrestling match like that. It kind of gave me like Tenacious D vibes. Yeah, right.
For sure.
But
I think that speaks to what I was saying earlier too. Like, what's fun about Tenacious D is like the music's not a joke in that movie. They might say jokes in the music.
Oh yeah.
But they're passionate about the music and it's high quality. And that's kind of how I felt about how they approached the wrestling in this.
Yeah, this was a fun time.
This was the movie that I wanted Apocalypse to be, compared to another Canadian production.
Yeah. I mean, we're surmising that it's Canadian simply because the one sign said kilometers and not miles.
Also, they talked about Canadian locations like Moose Jaw and Saskatchewan.
Oh, did they?
They've got several Canadian actors. I mean, not that Canadians can't come to the U.S. and work, but...
Not anymore.
Damn it.
So, also one last thing to mention that I thought was impressive about the film was it is a period piece, a difficult time period too, because it's not, we can go back and say we're in castle times and just run around forests like assholes. But no, this takes place in like the late 80s, so they have to have the right kind of look of the buildings, the clothing, the vehicles and stuff like that, which is difficult on a low budget.
Yeah.
And it felt very authentic to that time period.
I would say so. Yeah. Authentic enough.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was great. I think you should check it out. I think it's on Shudder right now.
Yeah.
So that's The Dark Match. The Dark Match or just Dark Match?
Dark Match.
Dark Match.
If you like horror or wrestling, but especially if you like both, this is I don't know if it's quite a must-see, but you should see it.
Yeah, we watched some shit-ass wrestling movie on Bad Movie Night with Roddy Piper in it. Speaking of Roddy Piper,
Rest in peace.
Awful. What was that? Zombies versus wrestlers or something?
Yeah, that wasn't great.
No, and that had like a lot of wrestlers in it.
This delivered on the promise that movie failed.
Seriously. So, all right, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Let us know if you have any recommendations down below. Maybe we'll check something out for the next time. If not, like, subscribe, and all that stuff, and we will catch you here next time, guys.
Or don't. Whatever. I don't know.
No, you got to tell them to, otherwise they won't.
Oh, if you tell them they won't, then it's reverse psychology and they will.
don't like and subscribe.
Also, check out the Bad Movie Night podcast.
No, don't check out that.
You'll learn it.
These fools, we get them every time, man. Every time.